peace, but another war may be in the making. America versus China, and it could happen in the next 2 years. The assessment comes from the US Army. We have the details, and we are also tracking their moves. Sample this. The US is expanding its military axis in the Philippines. The NATO chief is touring Asia as we speak. The UK is pushing for India and Japan to join the AUKUS military alliance. These may seem like unrelated developments, but when you connect the dots, the bigger picture emerges. The US and its allies are preparing to go to war with China. A top American general has issued the orders. He has asked his commanders to get ready for combat. This is General Mike Minion. He oversees the US Air Force fleet of transport and refueling aircraft. Recently, he wrote a memo. It begins on a grim note, and let me quote from what he said. "I hope I'm wrong. My gut tells me we will fight in 2025. He's talking about fighting China here. Why does he think that there will be a war? He offers some compelling reasons in this memo, and I'm quoting again. Xi secured his third term and set his war council in October 2022. Taiwan's presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a reason. US presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a distracted America. Xi's team, reason and opportunity are all aligned for 2025.
You didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
That's the commitment we made, he says. Biden is referring to the Taiwan Relations Act. It says if Taiwan is attacked, the US will come to the island's defense. His government was quick to clarify that America's policy on Taiwan has not changed. They call it strategic ambiguity. Now, we're not sure about strategic anymore, but there is ambiguity for sure. Meanwhile, the US military is preparing for all scenarios. Last week, the US Marine Corps opened a new military base. It's on the Pacific island of Guam. It's called Camp Blas. The base will host as many as 5,000 US Marines. The US is also talking to the Philippines. They're expected to announce a new deal soon. American troops will get greater access to military bases in the Philippines. And this is going to be very significant. These bases in the Philippines are strategically important. US troops can use them to mount operations in two flashpoints, the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. China, of course, is watching these developments. It has issued a warning to Washington, D.C.
We urge the United States to abide by the One China principle and the provisions of the three China-US joint communiques. Earnestly follow through the US leaders' commitment not to support Taiwan independence, stop meddling in the Taiwan issue, stop US-Taiwan military ties, and stop creating new factors of tension in the Taiwan Strait.
Meanwhile, the US is rallying allies. The NATO is making moves in the Indo-Pacific. The NATO, as you would know, is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is a military alliance, and the US is its de facto leader. NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg is visiting Asia. This trip has reignited the discussion on an Asian NATO. Stoltenberg is visiting South Korea and Japan. What for? To make new friends.
We live in a more dangerous, a more unpredictable world. And then we need strong partnerships between countries and alliances that believe in democracy and freedom.
This visit has not gone down well with China and North Korea. They're issuing threats and asking the West to back off. The NATO is reaching out to India too. Reports say the two sides, India and NATO, will hold strategic talks. This dialogue will be held in the month of March. Senior officials from both sides will participate. The agenda is yet to be revealed. We are told it will most likely focus on regional security. And this will not be their first such meeting. India and the NATO held their first political dialogue in the year 2019. We're not sure what form and shape this will take, but we can say that the West is trying hard to pull India into some sort of a military alliance. The UK wants India to join the AUKUS. AUKUS stands for Australia, the United Kingdom and the US. AUKUS. As unimaginative as acronyms get, AUKUS is a trilateral security pact. It was formed to build nuclear submarines. Now it is stepping up to counter China and to counter China militarily. A British lawmaker thinks this alliance should be expanded. His name is Tobias Ellwood. He is the chair of a key defence committee in the British Parliament, and he suggested that the AUKUS should include Japan and India. So far, New Delhi has resisted. It has not joined any military bloc against China or anyone else for that matter. India maintains that the concept of alliance is a Western one and that India will not tie itself up in these formats. At the same time, India continues to deepen ties with its partners. Recently, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval was in Washington, D.C. He met his American counterpart, Jake Sullivan. And that's the thing about geopolitics. Lots of seemingly unrelated moves and countries acting in national interest finding convergence against common adversaries. The US is readying its military and its allies for a potential conflict with China.